This video contains content sponsored by John Wilson Blades and MK Blades. Opinions discussed in this video do not reflect the views of John Wilson or MK.
Well, Brian Orser, I just saw you teaching a seminar for 2 hours in a very cold rink. You were 6 hours. I was going to say 4 hours before I came here. You just got off the plane from Helsinki less than a week ago. So what keeps you doing this, teaching? You're traveling all over the country. How much do you love this?
I love teaching. There's kind of like seasons, or parts of the year that I kind of like. Now I'm into my seminar season. Because as soon as Worlds are done, the kids, the skaters, they all kind of like decompress a little bit and kind of go off and do their own things. They do some shows, and this gives me a chance to go around and kind of do what I do and teach. And I love doing the seminars. They're a lot of work, but this is the time of year to do it. And usually pays pretty well too. So there's nothing wrong with that, because you know what, the other stuff doesn't. But no, I love doing it.
How do you keep yourself energized for such a season? Because you start at the end of August, Junior Grand Prix and everything. So when do you have your downtime, and when do you get motivated for the season?
This season's been, I don't know, I was telling Tracy Wilson just a few weeks ago that this seemed to be like the most stressful season I've had as a coach. I've only been teaching 11 years, but this one seemed to be really stressful. And maybe it's because the Olympics are looming. Maybe because there's so much on the line, and maybe I have more skaters that I'm kind of feeling their tension. So I don't know. But then now it's over, and Worlds was pretty good, and I just try to keep energized. As long as if I have good skaters and some coaches with some enthusiasm, then I'm fine. I like to teach. So.
How much time do you spend on the mental aspect? Because you took Gabby Daleman 2 years. She's a talented skater, but she hadn't put it together. And she put it together at Worlds in a very big way. What has the focus been for you? Because I know people will talk about Hanyu and your success with him, but that seems to be one of your biggest successes this year. So what was that?
Well, here's the thing. It's with Gabby, it was really, it's been a project, and she's always been a good jumper, but then she's hit and miss and hot and cold, and the stars and the moon all to line up for her to be perfect. But then we kind of came up with a solution for her competition to keep her occupied and to keep her calm. So we do have certain things that we do prior to her competition, before the 6-minute warm-up. If she has to skate near the end, we know what we're going to do from the warm-up, those 30 minutes before she has to go out and skate. So we have things that we do with her, and it keeps her occupied and keeps her mind away from, we learned a lot at the beginning with her. It was, a cup in France. She had a great short, and she was second behind the Russian girl. But and then before the long, she kind of disappeared for a little bit. She went and she sent a text to Javi to say I'm so nervous, I'm freaking out or something. And so then Javi told us, and she didn't skate well. So we were like, okay, first of all, no cell phones, no texting to Javi, and if you need to communicate something, you need to communicate with us. So we came up with a plan to keep her busy and to keep her away from the temptation of texting people.
No, you had Javi, who you would describe as being a little more free-spirited. Before, he did so well in the short program. The free skate, not his best. Do you think that's more of a fluke for him? Because he has seemed to have really turned a corner in his career. That
was definitely a fluke that he didn't skate well. And, I haven't had any time really with him. I know he's in Toronto right now, so I need to kind of connect with him and for us just to have a discussion. But even just when, listening to his interviews right afterwards, he was saying that he got spooked. He got spooked by the high marks. He was backstage and he was warming up, and he heard all these, he heard all the marks, with Shoma right before him, of course, and he heard Yuzu's, and, there were some pretty high marks. But, and now I wish I had known that he was hearing all this, because all he needed to know was that a skate like last year, or not even quite as good as last year, would have been enough for him to win. You know, for him to get 215 points is possible. You know, he has enough stuff. The program is that great, and I don't know, just they got to him. So we learned something about him, and we'll have to figure it out and address it because we can't take any chances at Olympics.
Now, you sound disappointed about him, but you also had Hanyu, who did so exceptionally well in the free skate. So how do you leave the event as a coach? I mean, are you satisfied with Worlds? I mean, obviously you have to be excited with how, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Yuzuru needed that. He needed that win. Mm-hmm. He's not a big fan of coming second, and it's been a while. You know, last time he was on top of the podium at Worlds was the Olympic year. Mm-hmm. So we're at the Olympic year again. So he was next to Javi a couple of times, and as much as he's friendly with Javi and he's a teammate, he doesn't like being second. So, and he needed it. He needed you know what? It was time for him. And I think it's just going to play out beautifully for like the drama for next year and for the event. And, you know, they each have 2 world titles now. So, you know, Javi's just going to stick to his plan and just do what he does. We've got music selected for him and for Hanyu, and we start that process soon. Javi starts on Monday with his new long program.
Now, how do you keep them both healthy? Because your skaters, every year at the end of the year, have shown up at the World Championships, and 90 to 95% of the time have been able to perform their content.
Yeah.
How are you, you know, quad lutzes, quad flips, quad loops, how are you keeping these skaters? I mean, they're very competitive. Hanyu is clearly very competitive. How do you keep them able to put out a good performance and to, you know, not have them be overly aggressive and keep their bodies?
I think it's just good old-fashioned fitness and being smart. You know, there are days where I can just tell by the way they walk into the rink that we're not going to do any quads today. Mm-hmm. There are days where they've got a little skip in their step, so we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to we'll do some more. But you know, I don't push them too hard when it comes to that because I don't want them to get hurt, and I want to make each jumping pass when it comes to quads. I want to make each jumping pass really, really special and important, so they're not just kind of. You know, as soon as you sort of have a little bit of a, a wandering attention or brain or something, that's where accidents happen. So you just have to make sure that they're ready and clear. And we can knock on wood, that we've been really lucky that they've stayed healthy and fit and without injury.
Well, you also had them pull back and, you know, not go for quad lutzes and, you know, not put that out there. So how do you talk to them about that? You know, what do you say to them when everyone is on Instagram posting their latest quad flip, their quad lutz? I mean, they see it. Everyone sees it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I have a little one at my rink that does that too. He's a quad lutz kid, and he's only 12. But, and they see it. You know, Yuzuru will be like clapping for him, just going, oh my God. But I'm not sure what Yuzuru's mindset is and what his plan is for moving ahead. But I think this was a perfect example of this season that I don't think, well, you don't need the quad flip to win. And I think Javi and Yuzuru are right on track with, they've got great programs, they have great choreography, they're men, they have incredible skating skills and transitions. And that's what that we just have to do what we do and do it well. That's the main thing. We don't have to follow. Now, if they were staying on past the next Olympics, that'll be a different story. Mm-hmm. And we may have to try to learn quad lutz or, you know.
Now, Kurt Browning said that you landed quite a few quads back in the day. So which quads did you do?
I only did quad toe. Mm-hmm. And I did, and I worked on quad lutz, but I never landed any. Mm-hmm. But just quad toe. But that was 35 years ago, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So how motivated are you for the Olympics? I mean, does it feel as motivating as a coach as an athlete? I mean, do you start to feel that Olympic season excitement and pull now? You know.
Oh, I've been feeling it for months.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been feeling it for months, and I'm, like it's part of our daily process now. You know, and you can't get away from it, and nor should we. So right now we're getting music, and we're getting choreographers and programs, and it's all because of the Olympics. And then we've been already talking about who's staying with who, and like we're staying with which country, and you know who's going to be accredited, and you know it's there's a lot going on. But yeah, it's time, and especially when you have the two skaters like Javi and Yuzu, and now Gabby, all kind of medal contenders. It's going to be their life now for the next 9 months.
So we see you here in the U.S. You used to coach American skaters. You know, is that a possibility for the future? How's that?
Anything's possible, I guess. It's hard because I have to jump through a lot of hoops to teach here. So whether it's I think I am a member of the PSA, but then you have to be a member of U.S. Figure Skating, and you have to do all your tests every year. And so like I do that with the Canadian Federation, so with the coaching requirements, and it's a lot of work, and then have to do it all over again for US. It's a lot of work. So I guess never say never, but you know, it would have to be a really special athlete to be able to have to go and do all that again.
You know, I think they could make some exemptions for you. You know?
No, they don't. They can't.
Yeah, I know.
And I get it. Like I'm fine with that, and they don't. They shouldn't make exceptions for me. So we'll see.
Yeah. So, you know, how about you? You know, you're doing seminars now. Do you have time off? You know, you're already talking about next.
Yeah, I actually plan my seminars usually around some fabulous place. Like last year, I went to Thailand to do a seminar, and then I stayed for like 5 days after and stayed in Thailand and did Thailand stuff. This year, I'm going to. Well, actually, in a couple of days, I'm going to Singapore, and I'm doing a 3-day clinic in Singapore, and then I'm going to Bali for like 6 days.
Well, very nice. Well, we'll surely be watching you over the next season. Thanks so much, Brian.
Thank you.